Okay. This is the not so crazy lady. You can't make sane out of crazy. Rumpkin news. Raw bitch moments. So I came home after a very bizarre day, and I'm still debating whether I want to even post what happened today. Because I don't even want to give these people power, whoever they are. But so I just want to read the news. The Florida man reportedly brutally killed his prison cellmate and left his eyeballs in a cup. Oh yeah, it's old Blunt 30. Yep. And please tell me what anybody could find corrective about our prison system. Florida inmate reportedly strangled his cellmate, carved out his eyeballs, then walked into the prison's cafeteria wearing one of his ears on a necklace before officers noticed anything was wrong. Are you fucking kidding me? The Miami Herald, citing multiple prison sources, reportedly that the gruesome killing occurred Thursday morning in a building separate from the main facility at Columbia Corrections Institution, where hours later a battle between two rival gangs armed with knives and other weapons erupted. The inmate who was killed was identified as 58-year-old Larry Mark, who is also listed in prison records as being deceased as of Thursday. Mark, who had been at the prison since 1982, was serving a life sentence for murder, records show. Prison officials, however, declined to comment to the Miami Herald on how Mark died. Let me see. A Florida inmate reportedly strangled his cellmate, carved out his eyeballs, then walked into the prison cafeteria wearing one of his ears on a necklace before officers noticed anything was wrong. Yeah, I'm going to take a break for a second and just let you digest that information. Yep. The inmate who was killed was identified as 58-year-old Larry Mark. Prison officials, however, declined to comment to the Miami Herald on how Mark died or to identify his attacker. The prison and the Florida Department of Corrections also did not immediately respond to BuzzFeed News' request for comment. However, sources told the Herald that the attacker, irritated with Mark before killing him and mutilating his body, leaving his eyeballs in a cup to consume later before going to breakfast. Only 2 officers were patrolling Mark's dorm at the time of his death, according to the Herald. What did I tell you about this prison corrections officer problem we have? Where there are not enough corrections officers for the inmates. And there are riots and beatings and deaths like this going on all the time. These prisons are full of MS-13, Bloods, Crips, white supremacy, just all kinds of freaking crazy people. Crazy because they're treated like animals. They act like animals because people who are corrupt stole, the ones that are illegal, were in their country creating wars, use them as friggin' political fodder, and then multi-generational private prison system. These people get bonuses in these offices for the more prisoners you have. Instead of keeping these fuckers out, they want more and more and more at the risk to these, you can't. Used to be the government ran the prisons. It's called the federal prison system, state prison system. Now it's run by a union of corrupt corrections officers, and the good ones get fed to the wolves. Just the way it works. Just like good cops will get set up to get offed in a crooked department, or will get set up for rape or drug dealing because they know a crooked organization going on and they won't play along. Same shit happens in prisons all the time. So you lock up a bunch of fucking animals that have been reduced to testosterone-driven psychopaths. They created this mess and left, ordinary people to clean it up. And I keep saying, with these correction officers, there's only one in the family that needs to pass the background check. I'll leave it at that. Only 2 officers were patrolling Mark's dorm at the time of his death, according to the Herald. The Florida Department of Corrections, the FDC, released a statement saying the 10 inmates at Columbia were involved in an altercation the same day, 4 of whom had to be taken to the hospital. In a statement to the Herald, the FDC would not elaborate on Mark's death, but said an investigation had been launched. Any loss of life at the hands of an inmate is intolerable, and we are working with our partners at the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, bullshit, to investigate this death and ensure anyone responsible held accountable to the fullest extent of the law, a spokesperson said. According to the Herald, a potent mix of problems: staffing cuts, growing violence, the introduction of synthetic marijuana, and inexperienced guards. I'm sorry, and you forgot to put crooked corrections officer who are getting these cell phones and this synthetic marijuana and all this other shit into the prisons. Because it couldn't get in there unless it's going by drone or carrier pigeon or mole. And has left Florida prisons struggling to adequately inspect cells for weapons and contraband, let alone control inmates. The inmates are running the asylum. But I was crazy when I told you that 3 years ago. Last year. A couple months ago. Not so crazy lady out.